Another win for them. They remain unbeaten this season. They are taking records with them all along the way. 11 points clear as it stands of Bayern Munich, who have to play Leipzig back home at the Allianz Arena tomorrow. The pressure is on Thomas Tuchel's men. More on them in just a moment. Let's start with Aage Fjortoft coming in to join us here. As for Leverkusen, Jan, it looks like they're going to do it.
It looks like they're going to do it, and we're waiting for this for 11 seasons. So we are waiting a bit. I like to do my notes during games, and I read my note now, and I said at 1-1, and when they tried to play out from the back, they got some chances. Mainz, I was writing, remember Dortmund lost the championship at home to Mainz in the last game of the season, last season. This was not a great game by Leverkusen, but the fact is they're 11 points ahead of Bayern. And you know, they say about great teams that they always have luck, but we know that's not luck. In Germany, it's called Bayern Dusel, meaning they have the Bayern luck.
What we saw today, Ale, was that Leverkusen, and they've been brilliant all season. They've found the mentality to win the games that are difficult. But today was a day when luck definitely went their way.
Yeah, and much like Stevie and Jan mentioned, the first 15 minutes of the second half, where I thought actually Bayer Leverkusen would come out of halftime, because we have seen that in the past from them, that once Xabi Alonso settles this team down, and now look, let's calm down, let's play the ball, let's pass the ball, move with the ball, move without the ball, let's find dynamic movement on the right-hand side, on the left-hand side, let's find the space for Florian Wirtz, we're going to create chances, we're going to score goals. I thought that would have been the message, and maybe it was, but let me tell you, the first 15 minutes of that second half, as I was telling you during the broadcast, they're in trouble because they fell into the trap of this game being about stoppages and fouls and physicality and yellow cards and complaining to the referee and frustration. And it didn't seem like Bayer Leverkusen were going to create the chances that we become accustomed to. And guess what? It didn't matter. They didn't have to create the big chance because you just shoot it from distance, and Robin Sendner, well, he did what he did. And I suppose you have to put the shot on target, give credit to Robert Andrich, but yeah, you get bailed out by a goalkeeper who makes this save with his eyes closed basically in warm-up. This is a warm-up save. It's right here. It's right in front of his face, to the point to where we were joking about it. But if he just gets his hands out of the way, the ball hits him straight in the face. Hits him straight in the face. The fact that he missed it in the manner in which he did deflects it over his head onto the back of the net. And when those sort of things happen, you kind of go, yeah, title race, what race? It's Bayer Leverkusen all the way.
In all your title-winning seasons, and the seasons when silverware was the end goal, and you got it, how much did luck go your way those seasons? Did you always have those little elements throughout them?
Yeah, and it's not just... It's about the pressure you put the opposition under as well. You know, there was a couple of chances in the first half in particular where Leverkusen put them under pressure. One was the goalkeeper making a mess. The other one was the defender where they had opportunities. So, you know, you kind of make your own luck. You really do. And there's not a team that's ever won a league title that has not gone through a game the way Leverkusen did today. They weren't at the best. Yes, they still had some good passing movements, loads of passes, but they just weren't really at it going forward as much as they had the ball. But you make your own luck.
I wondered, though, Jan, if it actually showed the way like Xabi's laughing about it and almost seemed like he was in on it, that it just did show the chemistry in this team, that they are all on the same page. They're joking together, they're dancing together, they're doing everything together right now.
I loved it, Kay. I think it's absolutely brilliant. I think it's the best celebration in the Bundesliga this season. But on a serious note, I think this is very important that they have this kind of jokes, these kind of things that they're doing now. Because remember, every round now, and you could see that sometimes during the game today, every minute they're getting closer to a title. And getting closer to a title in Leverkusen, that is called Alarmstufe 1. That is alarm in Leverkusen, because they have no idea how it is like to win something. And now when it's 11 points ahead, yes, a game in hand, but still, they are ahead. They could be nervous. And I think that especially things like Saka is doing here can help them. And when you've seen all over the season, Simon Rolfes, their head of sport, and Alonso, of course, they have taken these kind of players in. There is a great balance in the team. And I think especially after 3 minutes of a game like this, there has been talking about Bayern firing Tuchel in the summer. Now they will go after Alonso. I think they need that. I think that the way they also celebrated every win now, they know what it's all about. I love that chemistry in the Leverkusen team at the moment.
A little bit of context, Stevie, and I know you're not going to like it regardless, so let me just say that ahead of time. But last weekend, when we talked to Granit Xhaka, Jeremy Frimpong, and Amin Adli, they were talking about how Adli, Frimpong, Tella, the young guys in the locker room, like to dance and like to have fun with each other, and that Granit Xhaka doesn't really get involved, but he was saying, I appreciate what they do as long as essentially they produce on the field. So for them to then a week later come up with whatever this celebration was, you have to imagine that is something that they have talked about inside the locker room, in which they want to get the old guy Granit Xhaka celebrating with them, dancing with them. And that's when you see Frimpong and Xhaka now crossing over and finding a meeting point in which, look, I'm not going to be like you, Jeremy Frimpong, and Jeremy Frimpong says, I'm not going to be like you, Granit Xhaka, but guess what? We're going to meet in the middle. And everything that Bayer Leverkusen are doing right now are meeting in the middle, where all the pieces fit and everybody has a role, whether that's in the locker room, on the field, off the field. It is the signs, or at the very least, a very clear evident sign of a team that is getting along and is winning and feels comfortable with each other, which is a sign of a good locker room.
It's that balance. There's a balance between. There's a balance when you have a good mix of young and older players. Then you end up with that good balance, because the young guys will do the dancing and the carry on and all the rest of it, but it's the old guys' job to make sure they do it at the right time, and if they overstep the mark, they nip it in the bud. And the same thing happens on the field of play. You know, you saw Frimpong today losing his rag. How many Leverkusen players went across, had no interest in what was going on with the Mainz player, but got a hold of him, took him away, got him out the road? I mean, that's perfect. That's the balance.
Go on, Jan.
I think, now just saying that, I think that there's some valid points here, but because there are some signals that Leverkusen are sending out, and they're sending it out to Bayern. They're sending these signals to Munich. It's like anything you can do, we can do better. Even celebrate, even be happy to be in a team, even be happy as teammates. When you look at Bayern Munich at the moment, it looks like all of them want to go in ski holidays. That's what they do there when they have trouble, by the way. So what Leverkusen is doing now, they're showing the total opposite, that we are a team that sticks together and nothing can take us down. Just remember now, if Bayern win now against Leipzig, there will still be no connected with Alonso. They want Tar, they want Wirtz, they want Boniface. Just see, they will try one more time to try to make a bit trouble for Leverkusen. I think that things like they did today with the signal that Stevie talking about when they got into trouble there, sticking together, I think that is a great, great signal of a winning team that think that they have to stick together if they're going to win this.
They've actually got themselves in a position now where if they don't win it, this would be a bigger surprise than Dortmund blowing it at the end of last season. That's the position they're in right now. And as long as they don't start thinking about that, they'll be fine. As long as they continue to be together the way they were through everything today, the ups and the downs and the good and the bad, then they'll be fine. But if they blow it now, this would be bigger than Dortmund blowing it last season.
Hopefully they're not approaching it like that. Hopefully.
No, I'm just.
This is the run on paper now, though, Ali. When you look at it, this is the run on paper. They're 23 unbeaten in league play to start a season. The record is 28 to start a season from Bayern. And looking at that, you wouldn't bet against them.
No, absolutely not. And can I just say that while we can talk about the reasons as to why Bayer Leverkusen, given their history and lack of winning DNA, if you will, I look at this group and I see something different. And they have been different throughout the course of the season. And whenever they have faced moments of pressure, they have been able to answer the call. We certainly cannot say that about Bayern Munich. Coming into that match against Bayern Munich, sort of the thought was, okay, this is when we see Bayern Munich show up. This is when we really see the personality of Bayern Munich and the personality of Bayer Leverkusen. Well, what we saw is one team with personality and then a bunch of guys running around. it is clear to see when you contrast and you compare both teams that Bayer Leverkusen right now has, well, not only right now, but over the course of the season, has been significantly better than Bayern Munich. And so to the point to where now, I believe, and it's something that we have talked in the past, I believe that Bayern Munich have played themselves out of the conversation. It's no longer about Bayern Munich and Bayer Leverkusen. It's just Bayer Leverkusen. It's a one-horse race, and it's really them against themselves. And so what was important about today's match is that regardless of what the circumstances were, it's 3 points. And it's one more check that you put on that list. Check. This team, done. Mainz, out. Let's focus on the next one, and that's Cologne. And it'll be a similar profile of game as the one that they played today. And they approach it the same way. They would have learned from today. Xabi Alonso would have a clear message to this team. Hey, let's learn from this. It's not going to be easy. It's going to take our very best. Let's put our very best on the field like we've been doing over the course of the season. And this should be a runaway win for Bayer Leverkusen.